and quote unquote trying to act white.
Mm, that word, trying to act white. God, I used to hear that in school all the time. And I know what people are. Today on Two Sides, Many Truth, we're going to be talking about code switching. Have you heard this term? We're going to get into it.
And the topics that come to mind to me when I think of code switching is number one, is it right or wrong? Or I don't know if that's number one, but how is code switching defined? How are we defining code switching? Um, seeing code switching as a protector and not something that is bad or negative.
Mm. I just looked up when you said how we define, since we're both African American. I just pulled up a black person might switch between, the African American vernacular to, the standard English in the workplace versus what they speak at home. So that's one way people define code switching. And you know what? We just had an election. Just think about all people who were against Trump who now might be code switching. They might be for Trump in front of their friends, just to survive the conversation, the environment, or just taking
Mm.
in, some of the things he said, and vice versa. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, I could definitely see that happening. I think for me, when I think about code switching, I'm thinking about when people who are not of the I don't even know if the right word is predominant culture or because when I'm thinking about code switching, I'm, I'm coming from a a black woman's perspective. So for me, that could be straddling the line between quote unquote my blackness and quote unquote trying to act white.
Mm, that word, trying to act white. God, I used to hear that in school all the time. And I know what people are saying, but
Hmm. That's
it's
why I said air quotes.
right, right.
Hmm.
Hello, quote unquote. But it's just
Hmm.
what I was defining earlier, speaking, standard English. I won't say proper English. You can say proper English, but just speaking standard English versus the way you talk at home. And so, for some people, you ask, whether it's right or wrong, it could be a mode of survival, in the workplace. Um, and then the white culture, when they come on to our picnics, it could be a, means of expression, that they can identify with you. So it's something. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. I don't think it's right or wrong. It just depends. Um, if you see it online and you see somebody doing it, your perception of it, you may perceive it to be wrong, but is it wrong? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if I can say right or wrong. I can remember a time when I thought it was wrong.
Hmm.
Like no, you need to be you, who you are in everywhere, in every place, everywhere, in every way.
Yeah,
Be
but can
you.
you? But can you always be you at work?
Exactly. And that's a choice. And it can be a very intentional choice, right? And that is, no, I'm not going to bring 100% of all of my energy to this place that I do not own. But what I will do is I'm going to be intentional about my space. I'm going to be intentional about my energy. I'm going to be intentional even about my boundaries. And so what that means is, no, I'm not going to be as quote unquote comfortable around you as I would be with my homegirls or with my family. But that's my choice and that's my privilege.
I hear you, girl. I hear you, girl. I hear you. I
But you see,
hear
but
you.
it took me a long time. It took me a long time to get to that point because I can remember as a kid, my mom, I would be either in my room, outside playing, whatever it is, doing my thing. And my mom would either get a phone call or, yeah, that's typically what happened. She'd get a phone call or she'd just be on the phone. And I knew the difference. I knew when she was on a work call and I knew when she was not on a work call. Or
Right.
I could tell when she was talking to family or when she was not talking to family. Because she had her work voice. So I knew if I hear that work voice, I better tiptoe in that house.
Mm, mm, that's good. That's good.
And I know when she has her mama voice, I could say, Mama, who you talking to?
Wow. I think we can all we you just gave me so many flashbacks. And I'm sure everybody who's listening probably having a flashback moment, especially about their parents. So that was a great example. But as you were talking, I was thinking, we put so many definitions on things, and I don't know who came up the word quote code switching, but it makes it sound negative, in a way. I mean, why can't you just be, you know, whatever you like you said, you one way with your family and friends, you one a different way at work. It's not, and it is switching, but it's not code. People are changing the word woke. We used to be like stay woke, when you heard that song, and woke was like,
Mm-hmm.
keep your eyes open, know your surroundings, know what's up. But now
Mm-hmm.
it's a negative word, those woke people. It's especially in Florida. It's a negative word. So I don't even like using the word code switching, but I did hear somebody on TV. They said I can't remember his name. He said he was doing this skit for SNL, and he was like, "Don't hire me," because he said he was doing so much code switching just to get on, and he was just
Mm-hmm.
like he didn't even want to be hired because he thought he was so bad. But yeah,
Wow.
mm-hmm.
Wow. It's interesting because the origin of the word code switching, it it has to do with language. So like going between different languages when a person speaks. So if their first language is Spanish, and so them even in one sentence going from speaking in Spanish to English, even with the same sentence, and so that was defined as code switching. Our culture has since taken that word, flipped it and used it, just like how we've done so many other different
Right.
words.
I'm sorry. I was laughing because I said that's just
Mm-hmm.
being bilingual. But why can't you just say bilingual? If you
Mm-hmm.
talking if you talking what's the word, slang, you just
Mm-hmm.
bilingual instead of switching, instead of code. I don't know why I found that to be funny, but that's
Mm-hmm.
that's so good.
As we close, focus on the truth of the boundaries that you define and that you create for your life and your space.
That was good.